Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today we're looking at a definite analog versus digital conundrum. Do we go with the analog version, which is the old style green screen, be it cloth like this or one that you pull up or pull down from the ceiling, or do we go with something like this, which is latest offering from DaVinci Resolve Studio 20 with its AI that basically replaces the green screen. Obviously everybody knows what a green screen is and how it works, so what I'm planning to do today is click across to my screen capture setup, and we'll let you follow me through and see just how easy it is in DaVinci Resolve Studio to actually do away with the green screen and use the software to let the AI do it instead. So without further ado, we'll go across to pre-prepared video and I'll speak to you later. Okay, so I've prepared my screen. Obviously I've dragged some media in. In this case I've actually dragged in the clip that you've just been watching. I've dragged it into here and all I've done is cut it down to a 30-second clip, and that's purely to speed up this demonstration. So the first thing we're going to do is press the Alt key on our keyboard, and we're going to drag this up a couple of spaces, so we've created a blank space between the two of them. The reason for that is once we've done this process, we will have this part of the image on one track and we'll have the background available to us on another track, so that if we want to we can just drag in a background that doesn't actually fill the whole space. It'll make more sense after we've been through the process. So that's this edit screen prepared. There's nothing else to do. We now click on the Fusion screen. That brings us up here. Now the first thing you need is an extra node in this line, and that's a simple case of pressing the Shift and the Space key on your keyboard, and that brings up a list of all the different nodes available. We want the Magic Mask node, so if we just type in mag, you can see it's highlighted Magic Mask there. Hit enter, and it's now added the Magic Mask node to this timeline. Next thing we do is come up here, and you'll notice my pointer, when it's down here it's the normal mouse pointer. When it comes up onto this screen it's already selected it as the dropper. So I'm going to click just 2 or 3 spaces here and here, probably the t-shirt, the neck and the nose and the hat if it doesn't bring that in, and that's all I want to carry forward. So click there, you see it's already got both shoulders and everything at my top. Click where the neck is, we'll click on the nose and we'll click on the hat, because obviously if we're moving it makes it, the more points it's got the better it is, or the easier it is for it to do the tracking. So all we then do is come up to this section up here, leave it on tracking. Now I'll just tell you I'm not going to change it, but at the moment it's set to faster, but we could select better. If I was going to upload this clip to YouTube, I'd select better. It takes longer for it to do the next process, but it will actually come out slightly better. But for this demonstration we'll stick with faster. Now if we just have a look back on our edit screen, you'll notice that I've placed the playhead, this red line here, it's right at the beginning of the clip as indicated by this number here. So that's important when we come to do this next bit. With 3 options now for it doing the tracking. If we'd put that playhead at the end, we'd want to use this option, which would mean it would go from this end down to that end. If we'd left it in the middle somewhere, we could have gone on track forwards and backwards, in which case it would have done that bit and then would have gone that way. But as it is, I always put it right at the beginning, and that means that I always click on this one and it'll go on track forward. As soon as I click on that, it will start the process, and you can see this little red line here is moving across. It'll go from left over to the right. I'll pause the recording there, and then I'll come back to you just before it finishes at this end.
A few moments later.
Okay, as you can see the process has finished. The count at that end was 749 and the count at this end has gone up to 749, and what that is, that's the number of frames. You remember we've got a just over a 30-second clip, and it was filmed at 24 frames per second. which gets you up to your 749, 750, depending on exactly how long it was. I think it was 31 point something seconds. So this has finished doing its thing, because it's stopped counting up there. So we can come back out of this screen now and go back to the edit screen. And obviously doesn't look any different whatsoever. And now what we want to do is put something between these two. At the moment, it looks like nothing's changed, but it has. So now if we drag a background in between these two, and this is just in true traditions of Blue Peter, one I prepared earlier, drag that to the full width there, and drag myself onto the screen. And as you can see, if I set it off working, bear in mind I've disabled the audio on that track so you won't hear it, you can see that what we've got here is this part is what you're seeing, and this is the background. If I drag this clip in a touch, you'll see once it gets clear of that background, the normal background will reappear, and there it is. And the reason for that is that what you're actually seeing, there's no change in what you're seeing from this particular track. What you're seeing is the background from this track. The reason that's relevant is because you can actually have, say if you wanted to display a picture here of something that you're talking about, as I did in the introduction to this video, that was simply placed on this layer here and reduced in size, so that you could see me, you could see the picture which was reduced in size, and the rest of it you would see this background. So there you can see it's a very quick and simple process, nothing complicated about it at all, and there's no setting up, it's all done on the desktop computer. Personally, having made the decision to upgrade to the full paid version of DaVinci Resolve Studio 20, that was to access the AI features, it came down to cost. So here in the UK, cost is roughly £230 for the UK licence, which is a lifetime licence. You don't have to renew it every time they upgrade the software. However, if like me you're considering buying a Blackmagic editing keyboard or a speed editor console, both are available with software license included, so it starts becoming more cost effective. So for a total outlay of around £300, I personally got the speed editor and the DaVinci Resolve Studio 20 license. I'm not sponsored by Blackmagic, but you'll find Amazon affiliate links in the description if you're considering buying. It does help the channel. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe, it really helps, and I'll see you in the next video.